Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first official episode of Ethan Hahn Movie News, where we will be reviewing a TV show. Because, it's Star Wars, everybody. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm a big Star Wars geek, Marvel, DC, one of those typical movie reviewers who is just big on all that typical Star Wars superhero pop culture stuff. Not really into fantasy things like Lord of the Rings and stuff. Harry Potter's cool. You won't probably see me review that stuff as much as you will be seeing me review Star Wars and, of course, superhero things. I will be also reviewing, regular movies and TV shows that I will be dropping on this channel. But we're here to review Star Wars The Acolyte. I just finished watching episode 8, and I've been trying to really take in the whole series because I've had mixed emotions about it. Honestly, there were some episodes where I wanted to tear my eyeballs out, but then there's other episodes where I'm like, wait, this is pretty cool. The choreography is pretty nice, which goes kind of to my first thing is the choreography kind of carried this show along with some other characters, but we'll dive deep into that. But this show was announced all the way back in 2020. And it had this awesome graphic, Star Wars, The Acolyte. And I thought, man, we're going to get some awesome Sith action, Darth Plagueis, Palpatine, some origin stories. Maybe not even them. Don't shrink the world. Expand on a new character, which they did in the show, but I feel like they did it wrong. Because we focus on a storyline that I could give two craps about with these two... this is a spoiler review, so I'll put that in the title. With these two twins who aren't twins that were just created through the Force. So they're clones, but they're like witch clones. I don't know. They were created through witch Force magic, and I didn't care about it. That's just me. The May and Osha thing felt like a burden to this series. Everything else, outside of it, I felt like there was a cool storyline. But the twin storyline, I feel like every time they were on screen, I was bored. I didn't care. And that's just me. A lot of people could be like, well, they had some cool fight scenes, yes, but I feel like it was just such a convoluted story that the whole thing with the witches, I don't get that. The chant that they did, a lot of people were dogging that. I'm one of those people. I thought that was weird. My dad was watching with me, literally being like, what the hell's going on? All that to say, this series had potential because a lot of us were getting sick of, them focusing around the original trilogy stuff or, expanding out to that new trilogy with the First Order and the Resistance, which they haven't touched. If you guys think about that, they haven't touched because, of course, there's a bad taste in all of our mouths. And I think they knew they messed up. And maybe there's another video in the future of that where we kind of explain that or talk about that with someone. But they definitely messed up with the new trilogy. So, of course, that's why we're going backwards. Don't get me wrong. The original trilogy timeline stuff, of course, we're eating that up. Of course, even the Clone Wars stuff. Ahsoka's great. Obi-Wan was good. Mandalorian is kick-ass, as usual. The most recent season, of course, was a little weak. But why not take a few chances and hop 100 years earlier from Phantom Menace into the High Republic era, which had, again, so much potential. We see Star Wars The Acolyte, the logo pops up. We're going to think, oh my gosh, maybe Old Republic era. This is going to be awesome. Now, I know I'm bashing on the main characters, May and Osha, but this show does have its redeeming factors, as I said before. And those redeeming factors being the other main characters who I would have preferred we focused on mainly, which is, of course, number one, being Soul. Queemir, sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. Soul, Queemir, Kelnaka, Master Ndara, the 4 top players of this show. I'm going to do a quick, rapid fire of what I thought about all these characters by putting your images up and just giving you one word. Great. Fantastic. Awesome. Great. Boring. Don't care. Just don't care. Why were you here? Why were you even here? Everyone complained about this. I didn't even care that he was here, but why? This was interesting. I know I'm kind of all over the place here, but can we talk about this? This is another thing that I feel like Disney Star Wars, they know what we want. Going back to it, when I saw this logo, I was like, oh, this is going to be about Darth Plagueis, all this stuff. It's all speculation, all theory. This is him, right? This is Darth Plagueis. Why is he just lurking in the shadows? Make the show about him and Queemir. Am I saying that right, Queemir? I'm going to say Queemir. Someone correct me. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Queemir or the Stranger, I'm going to call him Queemir. But, again, this show just could have been about Darth Plagueis training Queemir and, killing Jedi Now, of course, everyone's going to be like, Ethan, that's so surface level. You need a deeper story. But I feel like the deeper story wasn't the witches and all that stuff. Doing the flashback episodes, I didn't really care for it. I was a little disappointed, of course, with Kelnaka, because you show a Jedi Wookiee, and I'm like, oh, he's going to be killing bad guys and Sith. But we only saw him in action fighting his friends. And then when you do introduce him in the show, he just like dies right away. And of course, the one time we see him was in the flashback. So I feel like Kelnaka was awesome. But what a waste. What a waste of a Wookiee Jedi, in my opinion. Like, there definitely should have been a cooler scene with him. Him getting possessed by the witches, like, who cares? And apparently all the witches just die because Master Indara just uses the Force over the Wookiee's head, and they're just all like... And, like, I don't know, everything with the flashbacks, I was kind of iffy about. And a scene that I hated with the flashbacks, I'm going to say hated, because I didn't like this, was when Sol was looking for the twins, and they're both like on the edge of like the bridge, because the bridge like kind of fell in the middle, like right here. And in the scene, like literally, they're just yelling their names, reaching their hand out, which is totally unnatural. Like, what are we doing here? Like, if you're stressed, you're gonna figure out ways to get to each other. But they're just like, May, Osha, May, Osha. They were just staring at each other. Like, everyone's gonna say they're just kids, but I feel like that was so dumb. Like, that was such a dumb scene. Like, run, try to find a way to each other, opposed to just staring at each other through there. And doing that, were they trying to use the Force on each other? Like, I would hope that's the logic behind them just being, May, Osha, May. The choreography was fantastic. Again, that was another factor that carried the show. It took us up to 5 episodes to actually get some action, but again, when it showed up, it showed up. When he flew down, that was awesome. And then when the Jedi were fighting each other, big fan. The one saving grace of the show, in my opinion, is I might be in the minority. I've been waiting for a proper yellow lightsaber to be shown in this show. And of course, I'm not a big fan of Yord, weird name, but he was rocking that yellow lightsaber. The other Jedis were rocking it. I personally think if I were a Jedi in the Star Wars world, I would want a yellow lightsaber. And I was kind of upset that the first person we saw use it, in the movie at least, was Rey. But that's besides the fact. The choreography in episode 5 was fantastic. When he's like pulling the Jedi in, stabbing them, and in the fight scenes, this was the Star Wars, or this is the Star Wars we all want. Moving forward, just give us lightsaber battles. Of course, The Mandalorian is great, the old Western vibe, that's fantastic. But to kind of go back to this prequel era energy with the choreography is just awesome. I almost wish the music was better. I'm a big soundtrack guy, so I mean, no one can, of course, live up to the level of John Williams. The lightsaber battle in the finale was fantastic between Khmer and Sol, because I was just like, man, this is awesome. Like, it's just prequel-style energy. I grew up with the prequels, so just to see the fast-paced lightsaber battles was just so cool to see, and it's exactly what they were missing in the new trilogy. We just needed more of that, and this embraced it more. I am fascinated with Khmer, and to see where it can go with May, or no, it's Osha. I keep getting them mixed up. He's with Osha now on the island, and there needs to be more explanation. They need to dive deeper into Darth Plagueis in the second one, or we're again assuming that it's him. But whatever that creature was, I'm tired of Disney trying to tease us with this. Well, look, you watched this whole show, but look who's showing up. You knew what we wanted. Why didn't you just make a show about that? Now you just wasted all of our times with this weird plot that I didn't care about. Just give us a cool Sith storyline, man. Like The Force Unleashed. Dude, just give us that. Like something like that. It's just, I don't know. I'm tired, man. And truthfully, for me, the main plot of the show didn't really work. It had its characters that did work. That's kind of my gist. At the end of the day, I just feel like Disney needs to start taking their Star Wars content a little more seriously and just be more careful with it, because they're just kind of doing whatever with these TV shows. At first, I thought maybe Star Wars can live as like a TV series energy, but I mean, we're due for a movie, man. We are due for another Star Wars movie. It has been a hot minute since we had one, and the ones that we had besides Rogue One were all just kind of like whatever. And with the ones we have coming up, Taika Waititi has one coming up. I don't even know if we should be excited at this point. Star Wars is becoming homework for me, is becoming a task. I love Star Wars. I loved Star Wars, but I feel like, again, it's just becoming more tedious to watch these shows being ran by people that I feel like don't really care. I feel like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni just need to really hone in and be the head, make the calls on what needs to be done here, because I feel like this show could have had so much more potential instead of just trying to create something that none of us really wanted. Closing statements, because I'm getting tired. Star Wars just needs a complete overhaul from who's in charge. Kathleen Kennedy needs to go. Dave Filoni needs to sit down with everybody. They should put him in charge. I don't care what anyone says. That dude literally like worked with George Lucas and he created Clone Wars with him. Literally knows Star Wars to the T and what like the fans want. He needs to take control, or somebody who's more passionate. I don't know who's more passionate, Dave Filoni, but anyone who's more passionate than Kathleen Kennedy, because I feel like for her, it's all about just business and trying to please everyone. Let's put it that way. She's trying to find ways to please everybody. When just please the fans of Star Wars. Of course, you want to reach out to a bigger audience, but stop trying to change Star Wars and just focus on the core of what Star Wars is, man. And for me, that's the Force, the Jedi, lightsaber battles, some cool Sith storylines. Like, again, I'll go back to it. It's one of my favorite video games, Force Unleashed, man. Some great stories there. A lot of people will say, read the books, man. The books have so many great storylines. I don't doubt you. I didn't read the books. Star Wars started as a movie, not a book. And for me, anything I watch either on TV or movies is really what happens in Star Wars. People will be like, oh, the new trilogy had so many books to glue things together. I think that's silly. Like, you're just trying to save your butt by making books to explain all this stuff with Luke and Lando and all this. No, I mean, that's a whole nother video there too. Yeah, again, those were pretty much my closing statements. Again, I give you my ranking, 6.5 Ethans out of 10 Ethans. Again, this show had a lot of potential, had its redeeming factors, but in the long run, for me, a 6.5 is pretty much like a bust. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to see where my rankings lie in the future. Because, again, we're still figuring all this out. But I'm getting tired, y'all. I'm physically tired. I'm emotionally tired. And I think I'm getting tired of Star Wars. And I need a series or movie to kind of lift the spirits back up. But, yeah, that's my review on Star Wars The Acolyte. Let me know down below what you guys thought of the show in the comments. Comment down below. Let's engage. Part of this, a lot of this movie, TV show news stuff is for me just to give my opinion. You can please disagree. Arguably, I think it'll be fun conversation to have in the comments. But yeah, guys, again, thanks again for watching. I'm sorry for this hot mess of a review. I promise to tighten things up moving forward. But Deadpool and Wolverine next week, super exciting, and I will be breaking news moving forward and reviews and maybe trailer reactions. So I need to go to bed because I'm tired and I had a long day. You guys don't care about that. All right. See you guys later.